Hi, I'm Tom Lavery, CEO and co-founder of Jiminy, and I'm here today with Nick, co-founder of Trumpet.
Thanks for having me. I'm Nick, co-founder of Trumpet. I previously founded a business called Design My Night in the UK, which we exited in 2019, and have since gone on to found Trumpet in the buyer enablement space.
So today we're going to be talking about what makes a great product in tech for sales. Nick, we're great fans of Trumpet. We use it as a deal and product ourselves at Jiminy, but love your thoughts on what you think goes into a great tech product for sales.
I mean, firstly, delighted to have you guys as a customer, someone we've looked up to for a while too. I think, what makes a great product is, number one, you've obviously got to look at UI UX, especially in sales. We were discussing before about automation for salespeople. You have to make their job just as quick and seamless as possible without having to do too much. And obviously UX UI plays into that. Obviously salespeople are getting younger, so expecting the product to look and feel like the products they use in their day-to-day life. So I think that's mega important.
It's really interesting you say that, because when I first started Jiminy, I took inspiration from B2C, not B2B. And that because 70% of it for me is how it looks and feels. So that really resonates with me. And I feel like if they can't fall in love with looking at the product or platform, and I think there's a similarity there between Jiminy and Trumpet, where you look at it and you think it has a lot of inspiration from a consumer space. If you think where people spend their time with Spotify, Peloton, other places, even on their mobile, trying to bring that into a web app. So I totally get with that.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. That's one of our mottos at Trumpet, from a marketing point of view and a product point of view, is a B2B brand with a B2C flair. So that's sort of how we look at our product and our sort of go-to-market. And as you say, it just needs to, they need to love that product. And we look at moments of delight in the product, and it's as simple as the animated confetti going off when someone completes a mutual action plan, or something like that. And I think MailChimp were one of the best originally at doing that. Trello, I remember when I was Trello one day and just like a unicorn started floating across the screen for no reason. And it's just little things like that that just brings a bit of joy to the product, especially in sales, where historically everything can be quite bland and blue and white, and look the same. I think it's something great that you guys have done, bring a bit of colour to it, make it look a bit different. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, I think in ours as well, if you click on close one when you're listening back to a call, with confetti down there.
Everyone loves confetti.
So Nick, as you've scaled and grown at Trumpet, how do you think about customization and how that scales?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really important point. As obviously as you get bigger customers and enterprise customers, they're obviously bringing in chunks of ARR, and you do have to satiate them to a certain degree. But I'm also a big believer in, they have bought your product because it delivers already, and especially if they are seeing value in the product. And I think the minute you start to get sort of bound by handcuffs by some big customers, you can get into big problems. So I think the balance, like we talked about before, of what's strategy, what's customer led, I think that's the same with when you scale. So it's looking after customers, but it's not just saying yes all the time to them. There's different ways of doing stuff as well. If you move them from one competitor to you, they might have just done it a different way in that product. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just about coaching them on the new way to do it. But then also being very open-minded and humble, and they will come up with some great ideas. And if you do want to build a product that scales to enterprise, you obviously need to listen to the people that are in that space and know what they're talking about. Yeah,
I think the whole concept of SaaS is it's subscription-based, right? So you should be shifting the same box every time.
Yeah.
But in reality, it doesn't work like that. I think what the thing is, if a customer has a great idea and then you think, well, how many other customers could benefit from this? That's the best way I found to do it over the years, is that customer A comes, something you haven't built or you're thinking about building, you build it, but at least 30, 40, 50, 60% of other customers are going to use the unicorn flying across the or something similar.
To that. I think that's the dream scenario, isn't it? You're like, okay, look, we're going to make that customer very happy. and then everyone else will be like, I remember actually at Design My Night when we started working with big pub groups.
Yeah.
And at Design My Night, we built a reservation platform similar to like the likes of Open Table, but more for bars and pubs. And we had I won't name them, we had a very big pub chain that was paying us a decent chunk of money that just kept giving us, it needs to do this, it needs to do this, it needs to do this, which was very specific to their operations.
Yeah.
And in the end, we just had to, you basically have to stand up yourself and back your product. We go, look, we know you're not going to leave us because your team love using our product and it works very well. So that's like a big green tick. But look, I want to work with you. So why don't you push it back onto the customer? So with them, I said, why don't you put in a Google Doc a list of all the features you want? And I promise you, I will do 2 in the next quarter. You prioritize those 2 for me, and we'll go and do those 2. And then that just makes them think, oh, okay, rather than saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, and expecting us to do 10 things, it makes them think, okay, out of the list, what is most important to us? And actually pushing it back onto the customer while standing up for yourself, but then while delivering was actually quite a nice way to do it.
Nick, what trends or changes are you noticing from trumpet users in like the world of sales?
I think the big thing for us that we've noticed now and post-COVID is there was a stat, probably Gartner, that was 5% of deals are done with the buyer. So your product on a call or in person, God forbid. But then there's 95% of the deal getting done when you're not even in the room. And that's a huge shift in sales. So for us and our users, that's what we focus on. So we are that 95%. So it's about async collaboration. So that's a big change in the trend. So for example, in your trumpet space, we call them pods. We've really looked at collaboration and we thought, can you bring the buyer into your world, but without making it seem too on top of them? So how we look at that is within your pod, you or your buyer can leave async video notes, they can leave voice notes, they can do a quick, like a micro screen share, all just from within your pod. So we call that sort of meeting your buyer where they want to be met. And again, a lot of buyers, millennials, and now we're even getting Gen Z buyers on the other side. They don't want to be on the phone. They don't want to have a conversation. They don't want that meeting in their diary. They want async collaboration. You see on WhatsApp, everyone's now leaving voice notes to each other. So I think that's a big thing in the buying world as well, is making that collaboration seem as unobtrusive and seamless between you and the buyer.
Yeah, I had a great line the other week is that salespeople don't close the deal, the buyer does these days. And I can just see that in our customers, in our own team, that if you're not professionalizing what you do outside of the call and the meeting as much as you are having to hone that in the meeting. I mean, you still win or lose the deal in those calls, but everything else you do around it, you can lose it as well.
100%. And you know, the new space we sort of occupy is buyer enablement. So for years it's been sales enablement, which is still super valid. It's, you know, about making salespeople better, obviously still incredibly important. But then where we've come in as buyer enablement is, our motto in the office is buying software sucks. Like if anyone's tried to buy software, it's not fun. And the people buying software have a day job as well. So they don't want their whole day consumed by buying software. So if you can make it as easy for the buyer to buy as possible, and not only the buyer, but their stakeholders behind them. So making it easier for your champion to sort of upsell you to their stakeholders, then you're going to be in a much better position.
It's fun if you buy it off us. But no, I know what you mean, that still people have bad experiences, right? But it goes back to that when you talked about UX and UI and feeling, it's like, have I got a load of PDFs from this salesperson that I did a call with a month ago, and I've got to comb through, or is it Jiminy branded, looks amazing, everything's in one place, makes my life easy because I'm busy doing something else and buying software? I mean, it's the simplest term, but at the same time, that's so important.
Yes.
Because you think, oh, I'm going to send that and they'll remember it's there.
Like one of the smallest buttons in our pods, but the most important is that share button. So as you say, like if Jiminy have been going back and forward for a month with a champion at a company, your AE has answered all their questions in this space. They've added all the content, the proposals, the pricing, customer stories, all the questions have been answered. All that champion needs to do is click share and send it to their CRO and their head of sales and be like, hey, look, I've been speaking to Jiminy for a week or a month. I think they're great. Here's everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And then those stakeholders come in. And actually the great thing for then the AE at Jiminy is they see all these stakeholders coming into their trumpet pods.
And some they might not even get access to.
Exactly.
Nick, you must have seen like so many demos over the years. What kind of these days makes you stop and gets your attention?
I think number one has to be personalization. That an AI can help with this now, that they've done their research into me. So who am I, the one buying my company? So what have they learned about the business? What do they think our pain points might be? Who do they think we might be selling to? And coming armed with information rather than coming in cold. I'm a bit more old school, whereby I just want to see the demo. You know, I think if you look at sales training courses and all of that, you know, they're very big on discovery, ask all the right questions, keep drilling on the questions until you get those pain points. But a big part of me is just showing me the damn product. That's why I'm here. I don't need you necessarily to have that pre-prepared sales message once you've figured out my pain point, because that's what a salesperson is trying to do, is find your pain points, and then these are the 3 reasons how we solve your pain points. Like, I know my pain points, show me the product, I'll sort of decide if it suits what I need or not. So, you know, I've been on sales calls where it's been booked in for half an hour, we're 20 minutes in and we're still in discovery. And I get to see the product for 5 minutes, and then they're like, oh, let's jump on another call, and you go, well, you've missed your slot, really. And I think that comes back into like the async world of demoing. It's like, how can actually you just maybe send me a few demos that I can watch without the salesperson rabbiting in my ear? So I think, personalization, show me the product. I want more of a natural casual conversation. Like, we both know why we're here. You're trying to sell me this. I might be buying it. So let's just have a casual conversation. You know, not be too formal. It's not the way I like to do things. So I think, they're sort of the 3 facets I look at.
I think that's really interesting as well. I think where your frustration comes from, and I see it often, is that people try to put everyone in the same bucket. You know, ultimately, and you have to go through this gated SDR to then get a demo. Whereas actually, often we flip it the other way around and let you speak to the salesperson straight away. So your mindset is you're a really busy founder. So like if we have a SMB demo and we know it's a founder, the guys have the license to go straight to a demo. Right, because they know that's right. But if it's a bigger company and there's multiple stakeholders, they might want to run more of a process and do a discovery first. Nick, in B2B sales and tech, I mean, if I go back from like 2015 till now, I mean, it's like night and day. It's changed so much. But what do you think, if you try and look forward visionary and the next 5 years, what do you think the trends are?
I mean, it changes quickly, doesn't it? I remember when we launched Design My Night in 2010, being mobile first was a big deal. And now it's not that long ago. Like, it should just be second nature to every product. Look, I think the obvious one is obviously AI. I think that is, you know, a genuine game changer. I think where I'm more excited about AI is it's the repetitive tasks. I know we're talking about B2B more general, but I'm still a big believer that humans want to buy from humans. And I do still genuinely believe that to my core. So AI, I think, can help with processes. It can help with automations, workflows. It can help with discovery. So all of the manual tasks that maybe, you know, anyone in your business might be using, I think AI is a really exciting step change in that. Make things happen quicker, but keep the personalization. And AI might be able to help you personalize at scale, but it's still a human at the other end. There's obviously other use cases like customer success, where actually people don't want to speak to a human, they just want the answer, and it works. And I had that the other day on a product. I went onto their chatbot, it said AI chatbot. I actually asked it quite a confusing question, I thought, and it gave me the answer. And I was like, perfect.
You're going to have trumpet avatar.
Trumpet avatar,
Yeah.
So I think, I'm sure there's people much more versed in AI than I, but I think a bit linked to that is the importance of like predictive analytics.
Yeah.
I think we're in a world now where we have so much data, and even if you just look in the sales space, but whatever industry you're in, there will be a ton of data flow. So at Design My Night, it was booking data, it was staff data, it was weather data, it was food data. Like, it's just so much data. And in sales, products like Jiminy and then Trumpet and all these other products that have a ton of data. It's about consolidating that data and then maybe using predictive AI to just to give you what you need from that analysis. And I think that is going to be a big step change.
Yeah, you've seen all these trends come together, right? Because you remember, internet, it's cloud, big data was the thing.
Yeah.
Then it was like AI was for a bit, and there was another variation of different levels of AI.
Yeah.
So it just, it evolves and changes over time. But I very much believe what you're saying there is true, that what you'll be able to do is basically process and munch through the data quicker than ever before to give insights.
Yeah.
I do feel a trend will be that you'll stop buying necessarily products, and you might buy 3 or 4 bits of AI on a consumption basis to get a job done in an existing system.
Yeah.
That it might process X, Y, and Z and do that for you.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it will go.
Yeah. Like micro AI bots within.
Yeah. So for example, like if you use HubSpot or Salesforce, you might go, right, I need 4 or 5 tools on top of that that may or may not integrate in a half average way or whatever. But I need these 3 bits of AI within Salesforce to do that.
Yeah. I think, and then another part, which is less AIE, is something that AAIE, which I hope happens, is actually like internal collaboration. And I think now with the rise, again, bringing it into sales world a bit, like a RevOps, like the title RevOps, we've got buyer enablement, sales enablement leaders. These are all relatively new titles. Their job is to look across the whole stack. And it's marketing, it's sales, it's customer support, it's account management. And I think they've all got their own tools, and actually looking how you can bring all of these departments together, because marketing need to help sales, and sales need to enrich marketing with their knowledge of the product. Sales need to obviously sell the product. They need to then hand off correctly to customer success, so they're ready to go. They've got all the information. You need a beautiful, smooth onboarding process. That then needs to be handed off to account management for upselling, reducing churn. It's all one chain. And I think in this world where we've just got so many tools for so many different departments, I want to see how we can bring internal collaboration under one umbrella and work better.